G'day, punters. We are back. Bigger and better than ever. Randwick Guineas, Australian Guineas time. Joined by none other than Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing and Dean Watling from the Barrier Attendant. First of all, Louis, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Gannon, good, Dino. Off the back of the Greyhound of the Year awards yesterday, I feel a little slim dusty today. So anyone out there, if you think my energy's lacking, please spare me some. I've only eaten a McChicken and a large fries today, so I'm really up against the wall here. But it was another huge weekend. It was touted as what was going to be one of the Group 1 races of the spring in the Oakley Plate, and it turned out that way with a good result. I thought the 2-year-old race, the Blue Diamond, was good. Animo just is so far above them all and continues to prove that in Sydney. So, yeah, it was going to be a great weekend, and it turned out that way.
Outstanding. And Dean Watling from the Barrier Attendant, how are you, mate? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was a really tricky day, I thought, betting-wise on Saturday. I had an absolute strip out, but Lewis Willoughby didn't. He tipped us into Little Bros at huge odds. That's back-to-back weeks. He's nailed some good big races.
He's on fire. He's on fire.
Listen up, punters. Still spray him in the comments. I love it. Just keep spraying him. And he's keep keeping the storm down. But Louis on fire. He's kicked off the year in very, very good order.
And you may have forgotten, Dean, someone else in the panel tipped Uncommon James, but let's not go there.
No, I didn't forget.
Horse to follow, Dino. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I got 4. I really loved the run of Zugotcha first up. She obviously missed the first up running the light fingers, had a little setback, but she was first up 1,400 metres and match motors. I think she's got all those 4 in the finish covered. Integra back to 1,200 now. She needs that. I've got a little bit of query over 14.
Question, Dino, just quickly, sorry to interrupt, on Zugotcha, are we looking 3 weeks into the next run? Is that when we want to follow it? Obviously, the 2-week Waller second up issue there.
I think it's a bit different now with the preparation. Would have been second up there on the weekend, so it's probably thrown out the door a touch. But I thought she was absolutely outstanding off that.
Yeah, with confidence.
Cool. Yeah, I think Mogo Magic, another one, country champs horse, Blanc de Blanc, phenomenal on a fast pace. And King of Sparta was really good back to the inside in the Oakley Plate. I think they're 4 runners we can follow.
Beautiful. Lewis, what have you got for us in regards to a ride of the week? I can tell you, let me list a couple that weren't rides of the week. Brenton Avdulla Yearning wasn't ride of the week.
Yeah, that was a hard watch. Maybe unlucky. Who knows? Just quickly on that Mogo Magic, how long till Hong Kong come knocking, if not already? They probably try and win the country championships first, but
I think they've knocked back some big offers already, so I'd be interested to see if they.
Dino, I've got a question for you. And like you said, Moral can't be beaten in the country championships, and like you're astute, but 1,000-metre horses. 1,400 metres, different beast. Do you reckon it's got 1,400 metres in it?
Oh, 100%. If you watch it on the weekend, the further they went, the stronger it went. So I didn't say it was a moral either. I think it should win the race. I think $8 for the weekend, but I think it just gets way better with a sit as well. I just won on merit there on the weekend, led them up, did all it had to do, and it was stronger than them all late. So progressive.
You may not have said it was a moral, but you did say Unthunderstruck's a nonny and can never win again. Ride of the week, mate.
Yeah, we're going with Sam Clipperton there at Randwick on Think About It. That was in the Liverpool City Cup. Just a really good on-speed ride, rolled them along, slipped away on the turn. Exactly how you want to see horses win if you've backed them and they're going forward. It was a well-timed ride. Also have to give kudos to Ben Thompson for his first Group 1 win in the Oakley Plate. That was a proper steer. And that cracking finish that Ryan Maloney took out the surround in, it was a pretty good ride too. I had to duck and weave through a few, so strong at the end. There was a cracking weekend, but we'll go Sam Clipperton 1 and then split second between B. Thompson and R. Maloney.
So good. And look, so many stories created over the weekend, and just, the game that keeps on giving, doesn't it? You don't have to make up stories in this game because it just continues to deliver, not like the NRL. It just continues to deliver week after week. Even the Dallahart, Darren Flindell, Nathan Doyle's story, the horse just keeps delivering now. They picked it up for 20,000 and win 500,000 in prize money now. They got our mates over there with Pete. Just flying. The horses more than likely.
Hayes boys.
Yeah, then you got in the All-Star Mile, you got the Hayes boys doing their thing. Beery down there dominating at Albury. It's all happening. It's a great game, and long may we play, Louis.
Yeah, true.
One for you. Right, mate, let's get into the Australian Guineas down at Flemington.
Yeah, so this is the Group 1 down in Melbourne on Saturday. Jacquino's the 320 favourite with tab on the all-in. Legato, $7. Elliptical, $8. Attrition, he's at 11. I'm, going to need some luck, I think, to make the field with that lack of prize money. See You in Heaven also at 11 and Amenable and Bankmore at $15. Dino, how have you seen the Australian Guineas?
Yeah, really keen to bet into this race. I've been really bullish about it the last couple of weeks. I just think Jacquino is an outstanding bet. We got into 280, now out to 320. You can see Osipenko's in the market, Louis, at $15 compared to the Randwick Guineas $4.50. So that's probably your best guy that he's going to stay in Sydney. But I think Jacquino's just better than these purely. He's a Group 1 winner. He did against older horses last start in the CF4. I think he's been crying out for 1,600 metres this time in. He was sort of a little bit flat first up over 13, then 14 really zoomed. Just had the break between runs, and I just think 600 metres at Flemington is a phenomenal bet at the price, and he's my best in all-in play of the weekend, Louis.
Yep, good. Gano?
Question for Dino without notice, the mile. Any concerns at all?
No, like I just said, I think he's come back a much more mature horse, and I think we saw him a little bit, like his best runs as a 3-year-old were first up. But this time in, he was probably at his worst first up, but then second up really picked up when he stepped up over the 1,400 metres, now to 1,600 metres. I just think he's crying out for that now as a sort of later 3-year-old.
Interesting. And you make a good point. Of all the other horses, so I'm looking at the list here. You got Jacquino, then I just look at the rest of them. I just think none. I get down to a horse called Lindemann that jumped out of the ground last start for Waller. If I was to have a play outside of Jacquino, Lindemann around the $15, $3.80 the place would be my play. So I'll play Lindemann each way just to change it up for something different there, lads.
Very good. Only one filly in the last 7 years to win. Just a little kind of side note. I don't have a great opinion on this race. I think Jacquino looks the class, hardest to beat. And 320, to be fair, is probably... Sometimes when you say that it's the class and it's hard to beat, you look at the price, you go, but I couldn't back it at the price. 320 is probably okay, to be fair.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a little case for See You in Heaven. I think off that freshen was good in the Vanity, running second. Not sure it's the strongest form line, but is a previous Sandown Guineas winner at 1,600 metres in Group 2 level side. I think it's hopeless here in this race, and they're pretty astute, the Jolly team, when they bring them to Victoria. They don't come here for a holiday like they would think would have a genuine chance. So, yeah, at $11, that's probably on the skinny side for it too, but I thought it maybe has a chance. But, yeah, that's kind of the way I'm leaning Jacquino, but with no huge opinion here.
Yeah, I reckon Jacquino will start significantly shorter than the $3.20, so therefore...
Has to.
Therefore,
unless it draws a bad game.
It's an all-in play, right? So whilst I'm going away from Dino, I think that Jacquino is still a bet. An all-in bet, I think you're looking at $2.50, $2.60.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Randwick Guineas, back to Sydney, and it's the other of the Guineas races. Do we think that there needs to be 2 Guineas and then the third Guineas a bit later on? We can touch on that maybe at the end of this, but with the Randwick Guineas, Aft Cabinet $3.50, Osipenko $4.50, Zoo Tiger $6, Matchalate $7, and Williamsburg is the first in double figures at $13. Lindemann also here, Gannon at $15, and I'll come to you first for the Randwick Guineas.
Well, there you go. There goes the answer to your Australian Guineas question, isn't it? Just back Jacquino the Australian Guineas and wait and see which way they go with Osipenko and Lindemann, and then you can probably make up your mind there before you pull the wrong rein there. I'm really keen to see if Ask Cabin can bounce back. What we saw last start was bitterly disappointing. Everyone wanted to bag Timmy Clark for a horse that was $1.50. It found its way to the front relatively easy. You've seen plenty of $1.50 shots go to the front and win from there. I don't know if the horse been pop. I really don't know. I've got no idea. We'll find out. What price do you want to take to find out? $3.50 as against a horse like Osipenko? No, I don't want to take that. Matchalate was flying home. I think I'm going to fall into this one again. Brosnan, $26, $7.25 the place. Just going to play at the place. Yeah. He's only ever had one dry mile run that was up in Queensland, and it was pretty good run. The other time he got to the mile was on a soft 6. He just needs a dry deck, Randwick, and I promise you, if it doesn't lob in the top 3 this week, I'm dropping off.
Dino?
Yeah, I love this race. I think it's an outstanding race. I love that Osipenko is more than likely going to be in this field because I'd hate to see just AF Cabin. So I'm really keen. I'm in the AF Cabin corner. I love the setup. It's probably my favourite profile in racing. A dominant win first up. They're often flat second up, and then they peak again third up. If you follow the ASP profile, AF Cabin was 220 first up, one with a leg in the air. Second up went under $1.50. Now peaks up and we're getting $4. Like, SP profiles in big races mean a lot, and that matches the Godolphin profile. I strike at 21% first up, 14% second up, and 26% third up. So I just think it's an easy back to have. He's an adaptable horse, pattern-wise, back and forth, and he's got that over Osipenko, who's more than likely going to be back in the field. So I think he's a great bet, and I think I'd be happy enough to take the price right now.
I'm going to go with Osipenko just because I was bullish that when it got to this stage of the preparation is when we'd see the best. Managed to win last start, got there even sooner than we thought. So I just think with the potential to be better again now to 1,600 metres with the Wood over AF Cabin last start, albeit, as you mentioned, Dino, second up flat, third up peak. But I just think that as much as AF Cabin can bounce back, there's potential for Osipenko to be improved even further again. So you'll be back. That's right, in the field. You're going to have to run over the top of them. But I was saying all along, I think third up, this is where we'll go. And I have to stick it at this stage of the prep now with possible improvement. So 450 against 350 for AF Cabin, I think that's pretty fair.
Really, really good betting race, lads. And I'm just quickly going through here to Riser and having a look at Randwick. The rail's going to be out 6 metres. So he's probably a little bit more in the favour of on pace. That it will be the back markers marginally, not significantly, but there'll be something in it for those on pace. I
also don't hate Williamsburg, probably more at $4 a place than 13 the win, but it was okay in that race that Osipenko won. I thought it was getting through the line all right, and so extra distance will suit it too. Look, whether it will turn the tables on any of them, maybe not, but $4 a place, it was only about a length and a half off them. And so the extra trip's not too bad. So I don't hate it either, to be fair. But yeah, as you mentioned, great betting race. And should be a great one come race time as well. To the Canterbury Stakes, which is the second of the Group 1s in Sydney. Imperatriz makes her way, or his way. Stand by, I have to figure that one out. To Sydney, either way. Which one is it?
No, I'm just laughing. I'm going to go.
I think it's a filly or a mare, sorry.
Oh, yeah, good. Here she is. In all her glory, multiple Group 1 winner, comes to the Canterbury Stakes and is the favourite at 280. Artorias 350, Golden Mile 6, Cascadian 8 within the Congo, and Conversion Electric Girl at $15. Dino, Canterbury Stakes time.
Yeah, really good race. It's sort of, I guess it's dropped away. Zaki coming out, he was obviously penned to run this race, and with his poor trials have put him away. I think it's a good betting race in the sense that Artorias is way too short, $3.50. I think everyone's jumping up about his trial in Sydney, which I don't think was very good at all. I know people loved it. I just thought it was a little bit weak. Profondo's coming out of that trial, who did a lot better and was flat as attack. And then you look at Golden Mile, who thought was really plain first up. His trial at Hawkesbury was poor as well. And then he had a track gallop on the weekend, which wasn't that bad, but he's at $6. Concern there. So I think without having a good profile on this Kiwi import, I think In the Congo has peaked in its last 3 runs, ratings-wise, first up. And I think 1,300 metres is perfect for this horse. Waterhouse and Bottom flying at the minute. So at the price, I'm happy enough to go within the Congo, but really respecting the NZ horse here.
Yeah, thanks, Dino. So I'm with In the Congo without a shadow of a doubt. I just think that the way the track's going to play, it's going to set up, it's going to be dry. This is the fastest horse in the race. Rolls forward and hopefully just stays the 1,300 metres with that sustained speed. Its last trial behind Shades of Rose and Dino's horse, Lost and Running, it was pretty good, but they asked for a big effort. And generally speaking, from that stable, that's not a bad sign. Most other stables, you'd be half penning them because he was hard at work. But In the Congo, we're up and ready, and $8 looks a good price. Considering how the race is likely to be run.
Exactly.
I don't know how many of these horses you'll want to be betting on the back markers. In the Congo is a really easy bet to have. Guys, 100%. Really easy bet to have.
I am tipping Imperatrice, I think the price is too short, but I think she is a machine. I might not
You didn't even know it was a he or a she 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, but look at the form.
4-year-old man.
Group 1 winner there at Tairapa over 1,400 metres and bolted in, for lack of using the P word. One prior to that in Group 2, Company was a good winner first up in Group 1 over 1,200, which I think is probably unsuitable. 1,300 just looks peak. Multiple Group 1 winner. I think she could just have panels on them. I would love to see nothing more than her come over here and just absolutely bolt in. I think she's a very, very smart horse and can be winning this at 280. 323.30 would be a little nicer. But,
you'll get it. For sure. Without a shadow of a doubt, you'll get it.
Yeah, I can't. If you look at the others in the market, Artorias, I don't know how you could possibly back Artorias. Golden Mile, Cascadian, I'm a big fan of, but racing pattern hard. In the Congo, I agree with. And then the rest, there's no way that they're going to surely be beating a multiple Group 1 winner if she's at a peak. So 4th up, 1,300. Yep, I'd love to see nothing more than her absolutely walk in.
Well, you've been all over it, Lou. You've been absolutely on fire. I think we've pretty much nailed pretty much every feature race we've done so far this year. So if you can work around what we've chosen today, punters, I think you're going to be in a bit of showing a bit of profit at least. Now, don't forget, I want you to subscribe, comment, give Louis a spray again. It's great. It's finally taken some pressure off myself and Dino that just consistently got hammered all last 2 years. So thanks for copying a bit of that, Louis. Before we move on, we do have the challenge stakes. You have a rest, Louis. Sit back, relax. I'll read this one out, mate. Odds courtesy of Tab. You can kick $2.60, Eduardo $4.20, Paul Ely $5, Remark $5, Passive Aggressive $7, in the Congo 11. Lewis Willoughby, what do you got?
Great race. Going to be interesting to see what Kiki Kick did. I am a little bit in the camp of Brad Davidson, who came out publicly and said overrated, but then took that back and just said a bit overhyped. I don't necessarily disagree with that, to be fair. I think the race was perfectly set up for Giga Kick in the Everest. They went far too quick in front and got over the top.
What's the context of that comment, Louis? What's the context of his comment? Where did he come out and say it was overrated?
Well, just the fact that it's a very short in this market, and for futures races, Everest, etc., is in the market again. Everest, of course, it's not overrated, and he took that comment back. He just said overhyped.
Overpriced is probably the word.
Yeah, I somewhat agree. I think 260 here is far too short to be backing it, to be fair. I am in Team Dino with Remark flying. I like Passive Aggressive too. So that's how I'll be playing it.
Dino, what do you got for us?
I love this race again. This is getting a bit scary. I love a lot of these races. But in saying that, we didn't really like much last week. So keen to bet up. What you got to put into perspective is, yes, it made a massive figure in the Everest, but you really got to understand race shape and distance here. Like, that's a 1,200 meter, really high pressure race that 3-year-olds have run in and done really well. You come to here, it's 1,000 meters, rail out 6. It's a completely different concept. So I think at 260 is way too short. Happy enough to take Eduardo on a firm track. I think he's getting on, and I'm really, really keen to back Remark and Passive Aggressive. Passive Aggressive even more so. If you get a chance, punters, take a look at her jump outs down in Victoria. They have been absolutely phenomenal. They're chasing a wet track, so a tiny bit of sting out would be perfect, but I can just see this horse mapping in the first 4, lapping it up, getting the perfect run. And I think Remark's a big danger. He trialled this morning at Rose Hill, and it was phenomenal. And we know Hawks love trolling their horses the week of their races, in big races. So I think it's an easy bet to have here, Passive Aggressive and Remark, Gunno.
Yeah, and that's why I've taken the reins here, because I've got absolutely no idea which rein to pull in regards to this race. So I'll just sit back and listen to you experts, and we'll go from there. Now, gents, you're all in best bet. What do you got? What we're going to do this week is we're going to multi them together. We're going to chuck a $20 multi and we're going to share it with the punters, all right? So, Lewis Willoughby, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to do best all-in as Osipenko, but also definitely having bets on Remark and Passive Aggressive in that challenge stakes, but best all-in Osipenko.
Love it. Dino?
Best all-in Australian Guineas, Giacomo.
Outstanding. My best all-in, I'm going to head to New Zealand because Louis obviously found a New Zealander over here. I'm going to find a New Zealander in New Zealand. I'm going to go sharp and smart in the New Zealand Derby. Horse was very, very good, and he won't be getting beaten.
I like that.
Worldwide, man.
I
Mr.
know,
12.
right?
Before we move on, fellas,
Yeah.
you know I love my 2-year-olds. I just wanted to touch on the Todman Riesling. They've been the best historical guide for the slipper. The last 9 out of 11 winners have come out of these two races. So Red Resistance heads the market in the Todman. I think it's mighty hard to beat against King's Gambit and Cylinder. Cylinder's that perfect horse that probably regresses here and then peaks in the slipper. King's Gambit, I'm worried about. Obviously, Cafe Millennium's in that race too. And then in the fillies race, Riesling, learning to fly, heads the market and looks mighty hard to beat. So as a punting perspective, I think Red Resistance is the only one at the price 230 that I'd like to take currently.
Outstanding. All right, boys. So what we'll do, we'll come with a 5-leg multi. I'll chuck $20 on it, and we'll split it between 2 punters on socials. All right. So that's the way we're going to play that this week. Happy with that?
Beauty.
As long as it's your 20.
It'll be my 20. Don't you worry about that, my man. All right, boys. Let's move to midweek best bets. Why don't you kick us off, Louis? Where are you going to take us this week, mate?
To Sandown on the lakeside, Group 1 track.
Is that with the cutaway, without the cutaway? Which starting post are we at? Which barriers do we start from?
Don't get me started. Race number 6, tab number 9, 3 rings, a Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. horse. Blake Shin takes a ride. Ran third at the Valley, was really good behind Gold Revolver in a 64 race. It's second up here, strikes a very, very weak benchmark 64 in the midweek grade, I thought. So no price yet. I'm not expecting much, but I think it should win.
Super stuff. What do you got for us, Dino?
Warwick Farm, race 6, number 3, Headwall was phenomenally good first up. Really like this horse. I think he's very progressive. Gate 1 can probably sit a touch closer, and Warwick Farm's been playing great. So Warwick Farm, race 6, number 3, Headwall. Gunno.
Super stuff, boys. We're going to go to Gosford tomorrow, race 1. Boy loves to run for the Bjorn Backyard. Brad Willa on board. You're getting around $4. Not a bad bet.
Maybe going Capinelli?
Taking on, your mate. And Capilatelli. Capilatelli. Can't read. Geez, I've been making a meal of a couple of names of late. Righto, boys. It's been an absolute, just been super episode. Great show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, get around us. The boys have been on fire. And remember, was it their oxygen? Is your comments and participation. Yes. So we do appreciate it. Louis, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Any hangover remedies, please leave in comments.
And before we go, Chook's 19.5. Is that enough start?
Mate, if I see another article about us rorting the cap, I will dead set give it away. We've just signed someone else today, Spencer Lena from Penrith. Another big signing in.
Another local junior.
Don't worry. Yeah, another local junior just through the pathway system there at Bondi.
So if you got it, sorry, mate, I just asked you for a tip, 19.5, and you've just lost me.
No. You know what? Dolphins didn't look great in the trials, but they have nothing to lose, all to gain from this round. I couldn't place a bet on the Roosters-Dolphins game on the weekend. I honestly couldn't. I don't think we'll lose, but you know what I mean? It's just
if you lose, Scott.
Imagine losing first game. I don't know. I'm wicked out a little bit about it.
Yeah, Jesus, Louis, you will win the comp this year. Have some confidence.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Set it up, Dino. Good luck. Good luck for the Broncos, Dino. I hope you have a good week on the punt, lads. Until next week, it's been a good fun.
Ciao.
Enjoy, lads.